any artist of any genre that needs a stage, then K-Poppin' is here for you because we have that on our Tiniest Stage every Thursday. And since I announced this artist is going to be in our studios, I think that everybody was just freaking out because I was excited as well. He's back, the one, the only, the fabulous Villains in the studio. What's up?
What's up?
What's
K-Poppin', Tiniest Stage. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be back here.
It's been a minute.
It has been 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Half a decade, actually.
It's been forever since I've seen. Well, yeah, because around the time we had you in the studio, my show kind of changed about a year later to be like a cultural show, and now I went back into K-pop, and so that's how we get a chance to have you back. But because there has been a little bit of a hiatus, what you been up to? I'm gonna talk about some things, but what were you doing?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess I took the time to grow as a man and as just a person, as a human being.
Okay.
I was in my early 20s when I first met you and came on the show. But back then, I think I needed some time for myself to kind of soul search.
Okay.
And understand what the best thing for me is.
Right.
Back then, I wasn't really clear-minded, I think. And,
okay.
I don't think I was making the right decisions for myself back then. But right now, I'm in such a very calm state of mind right now, and I can confidently say that I'm myself right now.
Good. Well, actually, I was going to say it too because you feel that you've matured.
Really?
When I first saw you, I wouldn't necessarily want to say that you were immature, but you did give off a very young, new kid on the block, very eager to strive to do whatever he wanted, which is great. But I do realize there's this Zen vibe about you going on at the moment.
I think LA kind of gave me that because
Good.
Everybody and the vibe in LA is just so chill and so zen.
You sure we're talking about the same LA that I know?
Maybe a little different. When we go to downtown, it's a little different. But I was mainly on Hancock Park and all that Wilshire.
That area.
Yeah.
Okay, so if y'all want to find your Zen, go to Hancock and Wilshire.
Yeah, downtown's a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, just a little bit, a little bit. All right, well, in the time that you have been finding your Zen, you created a company.
Yeah, I did.
Which I found thanks to, I think it was Kao's post.
Oh.
So June recently announced his departure with the label. And under that, Kao's remark was he tagged your company. And I was like, wait, hold on.
I think I saw that, yeah.
Since when did Villain have a company and why did I not know about it? But yeah, you have a label. So what's all that about?
So I just, during the time that I was spending, off the grid, I learned, I kind of started to study the music business a little bit.
Okay.
And then I really just wanted to be in charge of all of my moves and all of my music and just everything that I do. I wanted to be in charge of what I'm doing.
Right.
And, that was kind of what made me start and launch this company, $1 Billion Entertainment. I wouldn't necessarily say it's just a record label because it's an entertainment enterprise. So there's a lot of things going on, but I wanted to be in charge of myself.
Okay.
As a human being. So I think that's why I started the company. Yeah.
Right. Well, you actually brought up something. A topic that we don't necessarily get to talk a lot about in the business. Normally when I have a lot of artists join us in the studio, it's like you're your self-produced artist, but you unfortunately have to, quote unquote, have to rely on certain labels to, distribute your music and stuff like that because, it's the fact of a lot of times, I'm just going to be the talent where the paperwork and the legal aspects and a lot of that's what the company normally does. But a lot of times it's really hard, I feel, that for the artist and the company to see eye to eye all the time.
Exactly.
Right.
It's very difficult because, you know, in any situation, I don't think it's just specific to an artist or a label, but in any like relationship, you can't possibly live in a different person's,
Yeah,
shoes.
right.
So, everybody's going to have different thoughts and everybody's going to have a different opinion. So, at the end of the day, it all just comes down to how much you're willing to, give up and, be kind of cope with the situation.
Compromise.
Compromises.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How much you're willing to do that. And, I think I've gotten to a point back then where I was like, okay, I think I've had my fair share of this. I'm like, not as in fed up, but I think I've, kind of had enough of it, So, I wanted to try something. Honestly, back then, I didn't even know what I wanted to try. I just wanted to kind of like,
But and it doesn't, I know a lot of people kind of like go back to age and whatnot, but who honestly knows what they want at 20, 22, 23?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was very young, and I think I was also kind of angry because, at not at anybody, but just at myself and at music, honestly. I think as a person who has learned to sing before learning to read or write any languages, I think I've had a very personal relationship with something that we call music.
Right.
I think back then I thought I just wasn't being, I thought music was kind of betraying me in a way because I just wasn't getting the right, I wasn't making any money. So, I can't really say, can I say it like that?
You know what? I've had Sunny recently in the studio, and like I was even asking him, Dadio has a song called 타이틀곡.
Oh, yeah.
And that song, the lyrics are just like, it's a really fine line to find a song that you has the hook, that has, you need a title track for the album.
Yeah.
And like, as an artist, that's kind of where you find yourself kind of like, But I think Sunny walked away from the interview saying it pretty good, that good music is good music regardless.
Yeah.
Like it might not be the right time it's released, but good music is good music.
Yeah.
And it just like, are you able to wait that out?
Yeah,
Are you
exactly.
able to have the patience
Exactly.
to wait that out?
And I think I was just too young to realize that it needs time and endurance. But I think I was just too young and naive thinking that I was the stuff.
Well, I mean, as an artist, you need a little bit of that confidence.
Yeah, true.
So you said that your label is more of like an entertainment company. So like, are we gonna be signing some like actors and stuff? Like, are you planning on like signing different types of artists from different areas to have it in the label, or?
Well, I mean, right now we have visual art creatives.
Okay.
And then we also have designers.
Okay.
That do high jewelry, and then like fashion, and they also do cosmetics as well.
Okay.
So it's like it's all over. But right now we're not looking to sign anybody because like we're keeping everything in house for now, and then we're trying to develop as a whole for us.
Okay.
Right now, but maybe in the future we will. But right now we're keeping it in circle and kind of private, and then doing what we love and broadcasting what we love to do.
All right.
So yeah,
sounds good. So to start off the second hour, we got a chance to listen to the song that kind of announced that big hiatus comeback, which was 누구. When you shared the teaser, went to go watch it as soon as I saw it, and my honest reaction was, "Oh my God, he's back!" and I even texted you back. I DM'd you, was like, "Why is it so short? Like, why does the song end?" It's like I was expecting like a whole like 2 more minute verse of something out of it. But so, out of all the songs that you've probably been working on in the past 5 years, why was it 누구?
I think after like 4 to 5 years of being off the grid, people started to forget about me, and I have no hard feelings against
Right.
Of course they're gonna forget about me. But so I think I kind of thought to myself, oh, they're probably not gonna. Maybe there's gonna be people who don't remember me, or there's also going to be a lot of people that don't know me, and they're
Right.
going to be like, who is that person? And nugu is exactly what that means. Nugu in English means who are you? So I thought that nugu was a perfect track just as an introduction to who I am,
Right.
and who I am as an artist making a comeback after such a long time. And honestly, I've been off the grid so long that to most people I'm probably just a new artist. So yeah.
Hey, you know what? Chinese celebrating their 15th anniversary, and somebody posted a tweet that, oh my God, I have to look out for a new boy group. So no hard feelings. No hard feelings for that.
15 years, huh?
Yeah. I mean, in 5 years, a lot happens. And in the 5 years, the pandemic really did jumpstart a lot of different trends as well. So, I mean, perfect timing anyways. Now, today I am going to try to take you back to your roots of everything. So I'm going to treat this as like the first interview we've ever done, even though we've been talking like we've known each other forever. But for anybody who might be have no knowledge of you whatsoever, you said that you jumped into singing first before like anything else.
Yeah.
And I have to say that the type of music that you first started giving us 4 to 5 years ago did kind of give you a very like hip hop type of a vibe, hip hop R&B artist type of a vibe, very cut like rough around the edges, very nice and rebellious, and like all that. But you've got a really angelic vocal.
Thank you.
So your vocals are unique. I feel it's quite high pitched for a male as well. It's a tone that people can really enjoy to listen to on
Thank you.
the earphones as well. So how did this all start? Were you singing in the bathroom as a toddler, or like?
That's actually amazingly correct. Like, are you my mom? I don't know how you just got that correct. Like,
really, you're singing? Okay, so what were you singing in the bathroom as a toddler?
So like a lot of Kim Gonmo 선배님 songs,
Really?
Yeah, a lot of Kim Gonmo 선배님 songs, and then back then there were also Kim Seongjae 선배님 songs as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, you might, with his song choices, you might not think that he's younger than me, but there's a significant age gap between us. But he's listening to music that I was listening to when I was a baby as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's just my father is my mom and dad both, like they're very big fans of music, and they still listen to like Meek Mill and like Lil Nas X and like all these newer artists as well. They keep up with the trends, so like they really just got me onto all the best music that was around back then in Korea,
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that just kind of started helping you. But listening to a lot of like Kim Gonmo does tend to have a higher range in music as well. So okay. Now, I feel that because of the internet right now, and because a lot of artists are doing covers, and a lot of non-celebrities who are influencers have YouTube channels that have, millions of followers, that they just do covers, but they don't necessarily have a quote unquote record deal, or they'll like release a single later on. Everybody kind of wants to be a trainee, or they want to know how they can sing better. And there's a lot of technical aspects to it. For you, someone who has been singing since they were a toddler, have you ever tried to go to get like vocal lessons? Have you ever really tried to like develop yourself as like a vocalist, like with breathing and like, muscle exercises and, like all these technical things we see online.
There's a lot that goes into singing, actually. Yeah.
Right.
So I did go to a music like art high school in Korea, but I think I was just too blessed to know that I really needed to, appreciate what was being, handed out to me during classes, because I'll be skipping a lot of these classes, and I was really into producing back then.
Okay.
But then as I started to record more and more, I realized that, singing back then, I thought that just singing a good tone having a good tone on the mic was the it.
Right.
But I realized that as I grow like older and older, as I age, I realized that you need to have a system in your body where you can maintain your vocal cords for a very long time.
Right. There's a lot more like dynamics that go into it.
So I think back when I was young, I don't think I focused too much on that. I think I was more focused on like getting the right tone onto the mic and onto the system. But nowadays, I'm really trying to have the best of both worlds.
Okay.
Have the good tone, but also have like a healthy vocal structure as well. And that does take a lot of exercise. Cardio helps.
Okay.
Cardio helps, and before I do shows, if I have like a live show or like a tour, I like to practice singing on the treadmill. So
there we go.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Keep your diaphragm stable, breathing.
Exactly. And if you just breathe how you would normally breathe whilst doing cardio, that's not really going to work when you're singing on the treadmill. You have to there's a certain way of breathing, like through in through your nose and out through your mouth. Yeah, so there's something, there's a lot of things that you have to be very specific for.
Right. So you've been working on those a lot more recently.
Yeah, recently.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So we are going to talk a little bit more about your career. I want to kind of walk everybody through even how we met back in the day.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that 5 years ago was back in the day. But anyways, we're going to talk a little bit more about his career, how he makes music and all that as we continue on today. But we don't just bring our artists in the studio to talk. We also, it's a Tiniest Stage. We get a chance to hear them perform.
Yay.
So you decided to choose, if anybody sees you for the first time today, Dugu and this next song is like night and day.
Yeah, they don't align.
You're two different artists.
I mean,
in the aspect of
but that's the perks of being a villain listener.
Right.
You get the best of both worlds.
And that's what people can learn for today.
Exactly.
So the next song you've chosen for today that you're going to sing live for us is Bipsang, a piece of work. So tell us a little backstory about Bipsang before you give us a live performance.
Yeah, so I wrote this record when I was in middle school. And I think as a kid who was going through adolescence, you kind of, even when you just look at a simple teen drama, everything just seems so magnified, right? So, I think I was going through that phase, and something just clicked. I was watching this drama called The Vampire Diaries back then. It was such a teen drama. Not a lot of boys watch that stuff, but
my respect for you has gone through the roof because you watched that. Okay.
Thank you. I mean, fellow Vampire Diaries fan.
Of course,
but
anything vampire, I'm down for. So yeah.
Exactly. Me too. So I was just really into that kind of emotional, teen drama stuff, and then that kind of inspired me. The brothers bond, and going through all that love relationship. So that's what inspired me to write this track.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you get a chance to take another sip of water before we dive in. For those of you just joining us, Villain's back at the studio. We're going to get a chance to have him sing Vipsang, a piece of work live. And we are going to continue. I think you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Then music. Cue.
벽에서 낙서도 이젠 흐려져 가는데 지우개도 안 됐는데 시간이 너무 흘러서 흐릿해졌어 먼지가 꼈어 내가 곱게 컸어 다 갖고 자라서 양보를 못해서 지금 못 살아서 먼저 못 꺼내서 잘 살고 있지 아픈 데는 없지 열 글자밖에 안 되는 건데 아직 어려서 좀 서둘러서 마냥 좋아서 그래 그네 앉아서 또 우리 수다 떨 순 없을까 해줄 말도 많아 너 없이 그동안 못 푼 얘기 많았었어 얘기해줄 사람들 다 필요 없어 너와 나만 내 말 들어주면 안 돼 난 그거면 돼 정말 다 돼 그래 근데 그네 앉아있는 것도 싫은 듯 한 봐도 다 뻔해 페리오 편안한 듯 한편한 듯넌 손을 그어놓고 못 본 척 안 본 척 나도 못지는 않지만 넌 정말 밉상이야 다른 약속 다 미룰게 원하면 일도 쉽게 Always your method actor 네가 써주는 대본을 난 다 따라 못 알아 시간을 실랑이 하며 버려 다 갖다 버려 똑 부러지잖아 내가 알려줬잖아 할 말 다 하고 말 돌리지 말고 똑손이 되라고 싸가지가 있고 없고 상관이 없다고 기죽지 말라고 근데 왜 못해 너답지 않게 애타게만 해 별거 아니잖아 쉬운 거잖아 문은 못 열어도 그래 그렇게 내게 창문쯤을 열어줄 수 있잖아 해줄 말도 많아 너 없이 그동안 못 푼 얘기 많았었어 사람들 다 필요 없어 너와 나만 내 말 들어주면 안 돼 난 그거면 돼 정말 다 돼 그래 근데 그네 앉아있는 것도 싫은 듯 한 봐도 다 뻔해 페리오 편안한 듯 한편한 듯넌 손을 그어놓고 못 본 척 안 본 척 나도 못지는 않지만 넌 정말 밉상이야
Oh, villains in the studio. Bravo.
Hey,
Beep
thank you.
song.
Thank
A
you,
piece
thank
of
you.
work alive. My goodness.
That's a hard song.
It is.
It's a difficult song to
hard
sing.
song. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful song, but it's a hard song to sing. Okay, I have to ask this to every single one of my singer-songwriters that come into the studio because I know that it's different for everybody. So, Villain,
Yep.
when you meet a song and you start putting something together, what comes first?
Nowadays melodies.
Okay.
But back then, like there's sometimes when I come up with the name of the song first.
Ooh.
And then sometimes the melody comes first. But I kind of prefer when the name of the song comes first.
I think you said that Manito.
Yeah.
The title came up first,
Yeah.
and then you worked around it.
Yeah. It's mostly when the name of the song comes first, everything kind of just flows in very seamlessly.
Like the concept of it, like
Yeah.
the beat and everything.
Yeah, you don't really need to think much when there's the name of the song.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've asked this with a lot of the singer-songwriters that actually produce their own albums. Like, you know, not just write it and, you know, whatever, but like actually do the contact work, you
Yeah.
know, calling all the yutongsas, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the distributioners and like all that other stuff. Is like for an idol company, I feel that for the most part, you know, like they'll talk to their artists and they'll be like, let's try to eyeball it for a summer comeback.
Yeah.
And then they'll start getting the songs together. Then they're going to start, you know, recording them, singling them out, trying to get them into like a concept and stuff. But for singer-songwriters, this is completely different. This process, like you might have one song in your Pandora box of a hard drive. And then you're like, you know what? This is going to be the like the center of my new album. And then you just start building off of it.
Exactly.
But I always have to ask, how do you stop yourself? When is enough? Like, when do you stop yourself at a track? When do you say like, okay, 5 songs is enough for the next album? Or like, no, it needs to be 10 songs. Like, how do you stop yourself?
So I used to not stop myself. I used to hate to stop myself.
Right.
You know? I was like, you know what? Just be quiet. I'm not stopping myself. But nowadays, as a owner of a company, so I have to think about what people can like actually enjoy.
Right.
You know? These days, the music, like you said, Nugu is such a short song to us because we have like a lot of you know insight on the music
right
side. But you know, to a lot of the listeners, if the song goes over like. A lot of the songs nowadays, they don't even go over 3 minutes. Because, you know, everybody's really busy. You know, they like to keep it short and sweet. So, you know, I would obviously like to speak more on the song and then, you know, talk more, sing more. But, you know, it's just, we have to kind of put a stop. And then when I put a stop is usually when I play for my team and then they go like, oh, this is, you know what? They usually tell me, you should kind of just end it right here and then leave the fans kind of wanting to hear a little more and more, you know?
But that's exactly what the song did. I think that's kind of why you left me like, no. But because literally that's what the song, it's not like you go to a symphony or like a song, it's just like, oh, that's it. Okay, like that last note, that last chord, it's like, okay, it's over. It's not that. It's just like you are wanting, you're leaving the listener wanting more,
exactly.
which is also a great, you know.
Yeah, my longest track in the upcoming album is like 2 minutes 50 seconds, I think.
Okay, so you're really cutting it under 3.
Yeah.
So speaking of a new album, today's the 15th. Yes, no, 2 days ago.
13th.
Yeah, the 13th. You just dropped some new music.
Yeah.
So now that the songs are out, you're just rolling them out.
Exactly. I mean, I've been stacking a lot, you know, for the half a decade, you know. So this new track called Walling has just come out. You know, it's a hip hop track, but it's a little different from the one that I dropped last time. This one's a little more chill. It's more West Coast.
Okay.
You know, so I think people will enjoy it. I think people are enjoying it right now. You know? So, yeah.
Okay, so I've asked this to a lot of artists who have been in the game for a while. And especially when it comes to something so trendy like music, because like the songs are timeless, yes, but trends do exist.
Yeah.
How are you keeping up? Because you have an old ear like myself.
Yeah.
And I tend to personally enjoy more OG hip hop and R&B than the more recent stuff.
I relate. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very loud. Like I can't really hear a beat. You know, it's all over the place. It's just chaotic in a way. How are you on following these trends? Because your recent songs honestly have been following the trends to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But then you've been able to villainize it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you make it your own sound. But like, how are you keeping up with the trends?
I mean, it's really that part is honestly kind of like the hardest part of making music, because I don't think it's just for us. I think it's a hard thing for everyone. Like when you're young, you don't really notice it, but as you know, as you grow, everybody's gonna notice that. That's very hard. But how I do it is just, I have a blessing and a curse, which is my OCD is like, I have to know. I have to know what is popping. Like I have to know what is the thing, and I have to know what I just have this urge to know everything. So I kind of dig very deep when I make music.
Okay.
You know, so I listen to a lot of music for a long time. And, you know, I think that's just a blessing and a curse at the same time because I really torture myself for it. But I think the outcome is usually, you know, grateful to
Right.
that OCD, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say that you listen to a lot of music and, you
Yeah.
know, you kind of torture yourself. And I know that there's a lot of different types of musicians when they create, they're in their creative process. Some people treat it as a job. So they'll wake up,
Yeah.
even though they don't have a schedule that day,
Yeah.
they'll clock into their studio,
Yeah.
pull like a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
like try to stay within that area, listen to music, drop a beat, pull a song out, maybe try to make 2 to 3 tracks, whatever. But then there's some people who are just like, no. I need to wait for it to happen organically.
Yeah.
I need to be inspired
Yeah.
to start music, which is also
dope.
is also great because certain artists can sit in a studio like that and pull out a whole album in a day. So, how do you do you?
Me, I've actually been making music for so long that I can do a little bit of both.
Okay.
But nowadays, I kind of prefer to wait until that inspiration hits me. I try not to torture myself as much as I did back then, because and I think that in itself, being able to wait for the right moment to, you know, spit everything out is also a skill that you have to kind of learn and accrue over time.
Okay.
That takes a lot of practice as well too. You know, if you don't have the basis or like the 기본기, that's basis, right?
Yeah, basis,
if you don't have the basis, you can't really do anything.
True.
Even if you're inspired.
Right,
you
right,
know?
right,
So
right.
you have to be able to do a little bit of both. Like,
Okay.
And I think like just a word for the young artists that are coming up, like you really need to practice being able to do that 9 to 5 thing as a musician as well. Being a creative, because being able to create whenever, like 9 to 5, whenever, like whatever situation you're in, that's really important when, you know, because in this industry, you never know what situation you're going to be in. You have to
Right.
be able to create whenever. So.
Right. And speaking of which, we first met because you were part of a company which you guys were pretty much just crew
Yeah.
friends, like, you know, your crewmates.
Yeah.
And you've had your fair share of kind of quote unquote practice with your crew members at the time,
Yeah.
where you guys were collaborating with each other. You were producing songs for other crew members. Like, you know, it was just like this. Yeah, just constant like crew act of you're not
Yeah.
just making music for yourself. Like you would have June come over, Kyle
Yeah.
come over and be like, yo, give me a beat. Or like they would
Exactly.
eavesdrop on a beat and be like, give that to me. You
Yeah.
know, that kind of thing. Do you feel that process kind of helped you become the artist you are now?
Definitely, because, you know, as an artist, to learn and to create, even just to create, there's no such thing as creating something out of like nothing. Right nowadays, there's so much stuff that is just circulating that everybody that creates is like unconsciously, I wouldn't say like ripping off, but like inspired and, you know, like, but everybody's just like, you have to be inspired. Like there's people that say that they don't listen to music or they don't watch certain things when they create, but honestly, that's, you know, that doesn't ring with me. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I know the perspective of those artists as well. It's because
Yeah.
they're afraid they're going to subconsciously
Yeah.
copy.
They're being careful.
Yeah, they're being careful,
yeah.
just in case because they know themselves.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming
Yeah.
from, of the fact that you need inspiration from something.
Exactly. The world is a library.
Right.
I think of it as a library, and I'm checking out ideas, the books every day. And that's why, you know, my OCD, that's where it kicks in, because like I'm afraid that I'm gonna have when I'm on my deathbed later on, like I'm gonna think to myself, oh, is there an idea or something that, you know, I could have, you know, checked out, but I didn't.
That
You
you
know?
didn't,
I don't
yeah.
want to have that regret with me.
Right,
you know?
right,
So,
right,
you know,
right.
I always try to keep myself inspired. You know?
Right. So because you were based in Korea the last time we met, and now you're pretty much based in LA as of for the moment.
Yeah.
where do you want to continue to station yourself? To be global villain, not really rooted anywhere? Or do we want to be based out of a particular region?
I don't necessarily think I want to be like based somewhere. I just kind of right now LA is the spot, but you know, maybe later on I could live in Spain. I heard Mallorca's nice. Maybe like I've never lived in where's that Monaco before. Monaco? Yeah, Monaco. Yeah. So nowadays, I don't think where you're based is that important because like everything is global. Even if you release from Korea, everything just gets distributed worldwide.
Right.
And even if I distribute in the US, everything still gets distributed to Korea as well. So where you're based nowadays is not really that important.
Okay.
To me, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, to me. Yeah.
So you recently got a chance to go to Europe, and I think it was North America too, to do some shows as like the end of COVID and like everything started to open up again. You did get a chance to do a few shows, which I feel a lot of fans were waiting for.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was mind-blowing because like I said, I've been off the grid for half a decade, but the show was sold out.
Yeah.
So it was I tried not to show it, but it was an emotional day for me, you know. And I think that day also kind of encouraged me to make more music. Up until then, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Up until that point, that one show in Netherlands. Up until that point, I didn't I haven't really decided if I was gonna start a company or like put a stop to music, you know. But I think that day just clicked, you know. So it's a very blessing. It was a very blessed day for me. You know?
Okay. So the last time Jun and Kao were here, I guess whenever they see me, they just kind of talk about the days that you guys were here as like a whole crew, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I actually just talked to Villain on the way in the studio," and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I'm gonna give him a shout out on air." So they gave you a shout out on air.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a chance to give them a shout out on air.
Was it Gaho and June?
Yeah.
Okay. So Gaho and June, shout outs to all their dope music. You know, I've been keeping up with their music. Me and Gaho, we're the same age, so we keep in touch a lot. But June is a big brother to me, so it's kind of like, you know, hard to but you know, I always keep up with your music, and I miss you guys. And before I go back to the States, I hope we can sip some, you know, soju before I go back, you know.
I will be like lurking in the background when they catch up for
you're
drinks.
invited. You're invited.
I'll be lurking in the background like a fangirl. You're like, oh my god. So we're going to take another quick song break. It's not going to be a live performance, but we have to show love to Manito because it's just a bop.
Thank you.
But just for any of our listeners who do not know anything about this song, give us a little bit of an introduction to Manito.
Yeah, so Manito is a very dark sounding track, but if you listen to the lyrics, it's actually very beautiful. It's talking about how I care a lot for the ones around me, and it just shows my personality as an artist. You know, my full AKA is a hero named Villain, which means that I'm a hero, but just name is Villain.
Right.
So I think that characteristic is very portrayed well within this song, and I think that's the point. That's the key point with this song. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a listen to that and see you guys back after this with more Villain in the studio. And we continue on with our Tiniest Stage in the second hour of K-pop. And today we've got a very special guest in the studio. Villain is here, and I really don't want time to continue to go because it's already the last part of the interview and we need to start wrapping things up. I don't know if I'm going to have to go and drag you from LA back to Seoul, but I'm going to have to try to drag you into the studio again before the year's over.
I'll visit some.
So we were talking about your relationship with your crew members, which is all, I know, great, fond memories as well. But I feel that for us as fans and listeners, because we were introduced to you, all of you, as more of as a crew and then individually, I think that one of the things that we kind of miss miss the most is the subtle collaborations that you
Yeah.
did quite often at the time.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any like collaborations down the line?
Definitely. I mean, I think so because when I released Nugu, I got DMs from the brothers, and me and Gaho, we always, even when I'm in the state, we be on video chat talking about, what we could, just creating, even if we can't release right now, but, just creating because we like it. And even the brothers reaching out to me after I released Nugu is we were talking like, yo, if you need a verse from me, I'm always down to hop on. So let me know if there's a track. And they were like, of course they're still working on their albums.
Right.
They haven't sent me anything yet, but I hope they do.
Okay.
And if they do, I'll definitely hop on it.
Oh yeah, well, you guys heard it here first. We might be getting some subtle collaborations that we've been waiting for.
Of course.
Now that pretty much everything is opened up, so tours are starting to pick up now. They're being planned and all this other stuff. So are there dates that we can look forward to on your end?
Right now, we can't really share anything about.
But there is something in the
something
docs.
on the way. Something on the way. Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes.
Other than I mean, I know I'm being greedy, but you just released a song 48 hours ago. But still, what other music are we going to be getting a chance? Are we going to get more music? Is it going to be more singles? Is it going to be a EP coming? Is it going to be a mini album? Are we going to get a full album? I'm being greedy.
No, you're good. So we're gonna release, I think maybe one or two more singles, and then we're gonna release the whole album.
Ooh.
But that whole album actually is just it's a whole album, but it's actually only the beginning. So there's a sequel to that album as well. So, I've had a lot of time to stack up on the music. So right now I'm actually working on my next album. So my third album.
Right.
So the first two albums are already done. I'm just waiting for the right moment and the schedule to release.
Right.
Honestly,
Getting the dates lined up with distributors, getting the music video done, concepts and stuff like that.
Back then, I just kind of just want to release it for, just for my for my pleasure.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, since you are now looking at your own label and whatnot, one thing that recently one of the interviews we had, I think it was with Zior Park, he was saying that he likes to think of the jacket or the music video first before he starts making music.
Jacket as in like album cover?
Yeah, like the album covers. So he likes to think of the visuals first. So like concept wise and like kind of what story he wants to say. For you, I know that you've always been very hands-on with your music videos and stuff like that. When does that process pop up? Like, when do you start really thinking about the music video concepts?
So our label has a visual creative director. His name's Encore. And that process kicks in when the music's done. So I usually don't really think about the visual as much as Zior probably does when he creates music. Me, it's more about what kind of music do I want to create. And I really focus on that while I make the music. And then after that, I kind of try to think of ideas to make a visual that goes well with the music, because a lot of the music that I kind of make are orthodox music. So it's trendy, but it's also got sources from the OG genres as well. So we kind of have to be very careful, because if we don't be careful, it's gonna look a little weird. So I kind of once the music's done, me and Encore, we sit down and we talk for days, sometimes even weeks, deciding what we want to do. And what's good about me owning my own company is that before we couldn't do like practice shoots, but now we do practices and then like multiple practices, like rehearsals. And then we, just fly all around the world looking for the right spot, dope spot,
Right.
So there's literally there's infinite freedom of creativity within my company. So that's what I'm taking the most advantage of right now.
There we go. And that's why we're getting some masterpieces. No, I don't want to say goodbye. Stop the time. Hit an in.
I wish I could stay longer.
Right. Villain, we've actually gone over time. So I'm just going to have you tell us how you enjoyed the show today. I mean, I loved having you on the show. But if you have anything that you want to say before you go, I'm going to give you the mic before we do so.
Thank you. So, I mean, I looked so much forward to coming back onto your show because I've always had a great time when I came here. And I think coming to Korea, I think being on your show was also kind of a big factor of me deciding to come to Korea because, I missed you guys so much.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, and being here, I'm kind of thinking to myself, maybe I need to start visiting Korea a little more so that I could hop into the studio a little more too.
Yes.
So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we got that on tape. So Pinyin, he says he's going to try to make a comeback as much as possible. As we say goodbye, we've got Yoo Jung on the track. Tina's featured on it. Thank you, Villain, for joining us, and we'll see you very soon.
Appreciate it. See you soon, guys.
Bye.